All right, guys. Been a little while since I've done a video, and I do apologize for that because that's not my accountability. Um, and sorry, me failing at my own accountability on that one. And between being horribly sick, traveling up to the north, um, then getting ready for my first comp that I've done in about 18 months, um, I've been a little off track. But in all honesty, the one thing I have noticed reflecting this week, I have managed to have protein with every single one of my meals still. And I've woken up with water or to have water without reminding myself. It's become like my thing. Um, and yeah, I've been trying to exercise not while I was sick, but between all of the days. And yeah, I realized yet again, life reminded me how hard it is to maintain change. So just wanted to talk a little bit about that. And I'm actually going to start prepping dinner while I'm doing that because I'm trying to stay on track. So yeah, maintaining change, and send the email out with a few key notes. And I guess the big one for me is the mindset shift that you need to maintain the change. And we are really, really lucky, those of us who have the ability to make the choice and decide who we want to be and what our purpose is going to be when we wake up every morning. And obviously for some people that's not an option. But I think there are a large group of us that, and I'm guilty of it as well, I forget that I get to choose the person that I want to be. So I have found myself trying to keep that a bit more present in my mind. Am I going to be the person that tries to stick to something, backs out, lets it get on top of me? Or am I going to be the person that picks himself up every morning, even if they've had a rubbish day the last day, and go, okay, no, we're going to go at this again, and we're going to be successful. And there's a lot that needs to shift, and it's sort of that culmination of everything that we've been talking about in between, the habits, the goals, reflecting, and sort of that change management and maintenance in there. And another fact, and I talked a lot about this with my friends at the weekend at the comp. I haven't had a one-on-one coach for a very long time. My friends have, and one of them was saying, she got, and this is a training coach. I've had a nutrition coach for a very long time. This is a CrossFit coach, essentially. And she was saying that, she's had this coach for 6 months, and there's some things like she hasn't touched a heavy barbell in 6 months. But they've been working on other things, and she was really unsure about stepping into this comp, how she was going to feel when a heavy barbell came up. And you know what? She did amazing. She came 6th, which I think is incredible. And her heavy barbell work was still amazing, but she really had to sit back and just really be patient for the last 6 months with listening to what the coach had to say and obeying, and not obeying is the wrong word. That sounds very submissive, but being patient and taking in the process that the coach was trying to instill in her, and it paid off. I mean, the dividends are there. She's starting to see the progress and the little things. I mean, there's so much more potential. But it just really reminded me that, it's not a 6-week thing. It's not a 1 month, 2 months. Sometimes this change maintenance and the change itself can take 6 months. And that's anything from losing weight, putting on weight, to a particular skill, to to, you know, running, going from not running to running and being confident in it. And so many people, and I guess it's inherent in our society, you know, it's that instant gratification. And, you know, I love a bit of instant gratification. But there are things that are important in my life, like my health, where I am as an athlete, where I am as in my career, that I'm still learning to be patient with. And, you know, we want things like, I want to be better at this now. I've come out of the comp and I'm like, I want to be better at X, Y, and Z, and I want it straight away. And it's like, well, what did you learn this weekend, Kira? You got to be patient. So I've actually taken nearly 2 days off, which is a miracle for me. But again, I'm learning to manage that change in myself because I don't do rest days very well. And that's something I really need to work on. And I need to make sure that they're in there and actually do them in order to get further and get better. So all of this coming around to say like that, the mindset shift is a big one. From that immediate gratification to that patient sort of curiosity that we're looking for, and that, you know, mindset of I have the choice to be who I want to be or be that better version of myself, whatever that better is. So that's a really big shift. Looking again at change maintenance, you're looking at that accountability, whether it be through journaling, through support group like us, through coaching, whether it be one-on-one coaching for nutrition or group coaching, or, you know, even submitting your results in Sugarwood. So that accountability and visual of seeing progression is really important in change maintenance, because as soon as you see that change actually start to happen, or conversely, when you see it start to plateau, you can then address what needs to be done. You know, you get that reward from a change being successful, or you get that sort of the opposite of reward when things start to plateau, and then you think, okay, so what do I do from here? So that aspect's really important as well. But it all comes back down to you and yourself and what you're going to prioritize in life. I had a really big moment this year, and I know I've spoken to Andrew about this a fair bit, just in the gym and coaching and life. It's like, I say I don't have time, but what am I using my time for? Like I made it a priority. I made my training a priority earlier in this year. I've moved back to 1401. I get in at ridiculous o'clock in the morning because I know that if I don't get it done, I will become overwhelmed at 5 o'clock. Someone will add on a meeting for 5:30, and then I won't get my training done, which then sends me into a spiral. And then I, you know, either go really hard the next day and hurt myself, and then end up not being able to train better or, you know, at all for the rest of the week. Or I go into that, I'm lazy, I'm this and that, and I then don't train for 2 or 3 days. So it's really, with that change maintenance, it's, okay, is this a short-term thing? Am I going to prioritize it? And for a lot of us, it's choosing to prioritize ourselves, because, you know, it's hard to think of yourself because it depends on your support group and your network. It's like, people can call you selfish, and, you know, you might feel that sort of guilt, but at the end of the day, you're the person living in your body, and inside in here. So what are you going to prioritize? I've done it before. I've put people before myself and been that yes person for a period of time until I broke. Then I'll break, I'll throw everything up in the air, walk away, upset people, and then I'll feel better and come back and then go through that same cycle. And it's taken a lot of years to get to the point where, okay, I will put myself and what I want to do first. I have my list of priorities in my head, looking at things like family, husbands, training, work, what I want to do and be in life. Because even at 42, I think I've got a long way to go and lots of things to do. So that's just me. And really about putting me first so I can be better for myself. And that means that I'm better for the people around me. So that's just a little bit about prioritizing that, or prioritizing yourself, myself. But then within that, it's like, what do we want for ourselves? What do we prioritize for ourselves? Like, I prioritize being healthy, being able to do things that I want to do, and being able to support the people that I want to support. So that for me means I want to be strong. I want to be cognizant of things that are going on around me. I want to be a good friend. I want to be a good wife. I want to be a good person. So what then fits into that equation? And for me, that just means I need to be and feel at my best, which means I need to make choices that lead me down that path, which means I need to choose good foods. I need to prioritize my intake. I need to look after myself training wise. I want to be as strong as I can and as fit as I can. So what does that mean? And a lot of this is reflection. So all of the weeks leading up to this is this point of how we manage ourselves, our change, what we want to become. And besides that, it's sort of, where do we go from here? We've gotten to this point where we've had habits, we've tracked, we've looked at particular skills, we've looked at all of our different macros, what they do, what are involved. So now is that point where, okay, so what do we want to move on from here? So the case is that you guys need to ask yourselves that and keep asking yourselves that, whether it's once a month you have a check-in with yourself and say, okay, so at the end of the month, what did I want to achieve? Have I ticked this off? Where am I at with this? Which is why I find my best self journal really useful, because it lasts for 3 months, and so I can actually just go through and look at where I am month to month. But you might just do that in a reflective journal. You might want a one-on-one coach for either nutrition or training. And I mean, that's Andrew and I are here. I'm nutrition, obviously Andrew's training. But those are the things that we then start to think of, how do we put a scaffolding around ourselves and what we choose to enable us to carry on into the future. And I mean, there are things that the gym are going to be offering. We're going to be doing a bit more of the next one of the sort of 6-week sessions we're going to be doing is more based, I'm going to be basing it more around nutrition and nutrition habits specifically. So what's our goal? What intake do we need? Things like that. So that's going to be coming next year. And it's a case of like, ask the questions, start to learn, and use yourself as that experiment like we've talked about. And that's really valuable for yourself and for your progression. And I can witter on about all this stuff. Change management is my job as well as what I like doing outside of my job. So that's a little bit weird. But also I have learned to really embrace change. And that was my shift in mindset. And it's not change for change's sake. It's me sitting down and assessing, where am I now? Where do I want to be? So yeah, coming back to that self-awareness and reflection, all the things we've talked about over the last 5 weeks. And just really making sure that you are super clear on your goal, your habits, and your milestones to achieve that long-term goal. And that's where, again, sitting down with Andrew or myself and having that discussion, if you can't have it with someone else, what does that look like? So yeah, that's just me rambling for about 15 minutes. But the change management and maintenance piece of this is like the cherry on top of everything that you've learned. And it comes together to create that whole change. Everything that we've discussed over the last 4 weeks, or you've heard Andrew and I discuss over the last 4 weeks, 4 to 5 weeks. So yeah, just wanted to get on and talk a little bit about that. It's hard. Change is hard. Like, no one tells you that. No one tells you a lot of things are hard when you're young, and when you become an adult, you then realize things are hard. So Andrew's actually calling me right now, so I'm going to shut off the video, and I'll talk to you guys soon.